If your upper chest looks like it's completely missing no matter how much you can bench, you are probably making one of these mistakes. Or maybe you just need to learn how to overcome your loss in the genetic lottery. Either way, I will show you how to go from your upper chest being basically non-existent to it being built like a shelf. The first thing you need to realize is that in order to grow your upper chest, you obviously need to have an incline press in your routine, which I hope that you all do, because without it, building your upper chest is close to impossible. I know that some of you work out at home with just dumbbells and you may only have a flat bench and not an incline one, but that still doesn't mean that you should skip the incline pressing, you just need to be more creative. In a case like that, simply put your dumbbells or some other type of weight in your backpack and do decline push-ups. I know the exercise has decline in its name, but trust me, this is an incline press that will hit your upper chest very well. Now that you have an incline and horizontal press in your routine, you have the correct chest training foundation. But if you allow me to guess, whenever you train chest, the first exercise of the workout is always the horizontal press. It's like it has been etched into your mind. But let me tell you, if you really want to make your upper chest grow, always do the incline press before the horizontal press. That way you do it when you are at your strongest and freshest. I know that it might not seem like that big of a deal, but something as small as this can make a massive difference. But even if you have an incline press in your routine and you always do it first, it simply might not be enough alone, because your mom screwed you on the genetics part too hard. This is where another tactic comes in. As you know, a regular chest foundation in one workout will look something like this. And I have already stated many times how important it is to do all the movement patterns. But in a special case like this, when you are trying to achieve a very specific goal, you could do one very cool thing. Instead of doing 3 sets of horizontal pressing and 3 sets of incline pressing, you can transform this whole thing into 6 sets of incline pressing instead. To some of you, this probably sounds absolutely insane, but this is a very common approach when you are trying to improve in a specific area. And let me tell you, it works extremely well. And you don't even have to worry that the rest of your chest is gonna disappear if you stop doing the horizontal press. That will not happen. Of course, you don't want to do what I just described for the rest of your life. Simply do it for a couple of months. You can think of it as a upper chest phase. So for example, you dedicate the next 3 months to only incline pressing, and you completely stop horizontal pressing. And you best believe that in those 3 months, you are going to make an insane improvement on your upper chest. My favorite strategy for this is to always start with 3 heavier sets in a low rep range like 5 to 8, and then do the next 3 sets with lower weight in a higher rep range like 12 to 15. This way you get the best of both worlds. Plus, naturally, doing 6 sets of the same exercise will start to get pretty tiring. That's why the first 3 sets are heavier, so you can give it your all. And once you get a little more tired, you lower the weight and increase the reps, which will be very beneficial when you are already a little tired. Alright, this covered the main foundational strategy. But before we continue with more information, let me show you the new beginner bundle. It's the ultimate bodybuilding journey that will teach you everything you need to know in the simplest way possible, so that you never get overwhelmed. Because I know very well firsthand how overwhelmed I used to feel when I was getting started. To ensure your success, you will get a training, nutrition and a cardio plan, so that you are completely covered. So if you want to grow not just your upper chest, but your entire body, go click the first link in the description to learn more about the beginner bundle. Now let's continue with building your upper chest, because it's not just the foundational exercises, there is also isolation, which can also play a huge role. Here you can also make it more tailored towards the upper chest. So for example, instead of doing the classic high to low cable fly, replace it with the low to high cable fly. This will help you improve your upper chest even more. So now you know how you should structure your routine. But there is one very important thing you need to know before you put all of this into action. To safely and effectively do any kind of chest pressing, it's important that you get into the arch position. This will protect your shoulders and put all the load on your chest, which is exactly what you want. But don't get it twisted, because excessive arching can completely ruin your incline press. Because when you arch too much, you put your body in basically the same position as if you were doing a regular flat press, which happens pretty frequently, and it's a big reason why a lot of people struggle with their upper chest size. You know, people think that they are doing a ton of incline pressing, but they arch to such an insane extent that you really couldn't call it an incline press anymore. Easy cue that you can remember is that your chin should never be below your chest. That's when you know that you are arching too much. But that doesn't mean that you should stop arching. You always need to arch, as it is a part of a healthy press. But it should be done just a little bit. You just want to be more stable and have more power without changing the angle of the press. Just really focus on pushing your chest up and pulling your shoulder blades together. It's more of a mental cue than anything. You really don't want to look like you got possessed by an evil spirit. Otherwise, you are not incline pressing anymore. And as you have learned today, without incline pressing, there is no upper chest. The other reason why most people people's upper chest is so underdeveloped is because they are pressing in a completely wrong way. Using the correct bar path is extremely important, but most people just mix up the bar path of the regular flat bench press with the bar path of the incline bench press. On the regular flat bench press, you want to press like this, but on the incline bench press, you want to press in a straight line. That's how you get the best upper chest gains. So when you lower the weight down, you want to directly touch your clavicle bone, or just the area slightly under it, definitely not your neck, and then from there you press straight up. That is super important because a lot of people make contact with the bar somewhere around their nipples, or God forbid even lower, and I can't even tell you how wrong that is. It's literally impossible to do the exercise properly in a position like that. It's basically as bad as when you press away from your body. Combination of those two things is a recipe for a non-existent upper chest. Now we gotta talk about the speed of the reps, because I have seen a lot of your guys' incline bench press clips, and I always say that you gotta be in control of the weight on both the way up and the way down. But some of you clearly took it the wrong way, because in some of those clips I saw, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but some of you really did the reps way too slow. Yeah, I also didn't know that was possible, but it clearly is. What the control of the rep is referring to is that you are in the driver's seat, so that you can move the weight exactly as you want, not as the weight wants. But the fact that you have absolute control doesn't mean that you should be artificially slowing down the tempo just because you can. Slower doesn't always mean better. As long as you are literally not throwing the weight, you will most likely be fine. Plus, you have to realize that if you can slow down the weight so much that it looks like a comedy skit, the weight you are using is probably way too light anyway. Because if you are working with challenging weight, you don't really have the luxury of artificially slowing down the weight. I get that people that are doing their reps way too slowly are probably still learning the proper form, and that's fine. The correct speed and execution will come with more experience as your confidence in the exercise grows. But just keep in mind that you don't need to go super slow, you just need to be in control. And lastly, we need to talk about the stretch of the chest at the bottom of the rep. No matter if you are using a barbell or dumbbells, the bottom part of the rep is super important. You don't want to just bounce the weight on the bottom, you really want to go all the way down and really feel the pressure that it's putting on your upper chest. If you lower the weight to the clavicle bone while you keep your chest up, you can achieve such a great stretch of the upper chest that you will feel like your upper chest just instantly grew by an inch. In my eyes, the stretch at the bottom of the rep is an indicator of a good setup, which means that if you follow all the advice I gave you in this video, you should feel your upper chest like never before. So take all the information that you learned here today and apply it to your own training plan, and I promise that you will see results sooner than you think. Please don't forget to check out the beginner bundle by clicking the first link below. I hope you learned something, good luck in the gym, and I will see you next time. If you like this video, then you will for sure like this one too.